Okay, looks like we've got the live stream set up. Uh, I'm in a cottage. I'm in a cottage down in Cornwall at the moment in the lovely sun. I have a glass of wine. We may be slightly echoey, but that should be okay. Um, the chat's open, so anything coming in the chat, anybody wants to ask any questions, I'll respond to that in there. But I just want to get started and create a bit of an update for people on what we've been working on as we've been pushing out a lot of changes and getting ready for new product launches and progress on the roadmap. So, really exciting times. I did promise that if we hit a certain amount of viewers last week, that I'd do a live stream and bring everybody up to date. I'm going to record this as well and get that shared once I've maybe edited some of the rough edges out, and we'll go from there. If this is successful, maybe we can do some more live streams as well and see how that goes. Hopefully, people will tune in and ask some questions and to be useful for people. I guess we'll find out. Uh, we're on the hour. This is the time I said I would start. So I am going to kick off. I'm not going to stay too long online because, as I say, I am down in a beautiful part of England, ready to enjoy the sunshine. I've already got the wine. We're going to have some food, but I did want to give you an update. So on the roadmap, anybody who's read the roadmap, and if you haven't, nip onto our blog on the ont.io and have a read of the roadmap for this year. And some of the interesting things on there include Ont ID upgrades, making it more user friendly, but also things like instant messaging linked to your ID and things like AI linked to your ID as well, and all these sort of things. And it's been a really big push this year, a lot of development time. The devs have been working really hard on this. So we're getting very close. We're getting very close for it coming out. We're getting very close for the launch. And there's lots of things linked to that that I think are really interesting for the development community, but also the user community and everybody getting involved in ontology that I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up on and start thinking about before this all gets released. And so OntID was designed, obviously, many, many years ago now. It's one of the OG IDs in the space. And it was designed on the Ontology blockchain. It was designed as an external owned account setup. So very secure, very safe, lots of good usability, but also came with some limitations. And we'll be releasing an article covering this a little bit more. And whilst it is cross chain and can be used across multiple chains, what that entails is linking accounts to your OntID as opposed to that OntID being able to function as its own account on every single chain. And so, one of the big changes coming through with the development of OntID is the introduction of things like account abstraction, which becomes really, really important in terms of usability and also ease of use. So if you think instead of long addresses, we can now have something like Jeff at ont.id, which would be much easier for me to share and remember rather than a long string of numbers and letters. But it goes beyond that as well, because as we move away from external owned accounts for OntID and into account abstraction for OntID, what that enables is much more true cross-chain interoperability. It enables you to actually transact much easier with your OntID than it does in terms of just having to link it together as external owned accounts do at the moment. And so if you think about it almost as like ENS, but with reputation and identity really built into that entire system. And so really excited about that in terms of that simplicity, moving away to really true cross-chain interoperability and being able to bring reputation and things with you to a very easy username. And things like on account abstraction also allow us to do really interesting things around biometrics and also social proof in terms of account recovery. So it's much easier to have account recovery that goes beyond simple you've forgot your phrases or you've forgot your passwords or everything's got lost, there's nothing you can do. We actually are able to start building in things such as social proofs and social recoveries into that, which I think will be really, really useful for people, and sort of adds that accessibility, which has been a watchword for us at Ontology for a long time now. We want accessibility. We want people to be able to really use OntID without too many problems. And so that's one of the biggest changes I really wanted to share with you. And that move, just to reiterate, away from external loaned accounts, that will exist still. That will still be a thing, that will still be there, but an extra thing on account abstraction, which will make it much easier for people to use. The way I like to think about it is, if you think about Onto Wallet with that OntID sat in there really nicely as kind of your secure bank account. That's where you keep everything, your investments, your everything for long-term use, and so on. And then you link all that to your account abstracted identity, which is much easier for things like KYC, quick sharing, quick payments, things like that. And so, if you think about your day to day, where you do things, and then your long term. At the moment, using external owned accounts to prove your identity all the time is a little bit like using your bank account number to prove your identity all the time. It works, it could be better. And account abstraction really brings that next level of improvement for day-to-day usage. And so think about it in two ways: long term, short term, quick action, prove your reputation, prove who you are, prove your identity, do those things, KYC, do payments. That's your account abstraction identity. And then your longer term: this is where my investments are, this is where my long-term assets are, this is where my long-term identity and reputation sits, that I don't want to necessarily share every day and use every day. That's all sat in there in the longer term. We'll delve into much more detail on this with articles and AMAs and things like that. Again, if you are tuning in and you are live, you can go into the chat and drop some questions, drop some comments, and we can talk about that as well. Um, so that's one of the big changes. With that change is the ability then to really launch the instant messaging service linked to this account abstracted and onto ID. So you can actually then set up chat groups with people. You can talk in a private way with people, all linked to this new identity on there. And that's really useful, right? So if we look at some of the things in the chat world, whether it be Telegram being forced to hand over details, whether it be Discord really not abiding by the right to be forgotten and things like that, GDPR in Europe and various other things. Questions over the security of chat in general, so questions over the privacy of chat in general. Actually having a DID linked chat where you can actually see the reputation of the people you're talking to, and you can set up groups and you can do various things, and you can prove who's spoken to you and prove that they are who they say they are, is a huge leap forward, and add the privacy element to that as well. Now, just to be clear, when this does launch, it will be a very beta launch. It will be work in progress. We just want to get it out there for people to use and get used to, and collect feedback from people so they can tell us what works for them, what doesn't work for them, how we could improve it, what else we can do with it, and all these different things. And so, linked to this new account abstracted identity is the ability to use it in chat groups, in private chat groups, which is going to be a huge step forward as well. So you'll be able to access those chats. You'll be able to talk to people. You'll have full control over it. The privacy will be in your hands, and that's really, really useful. So really excited to see that coming out. Um, and then this will all be wrapped up in um, a DApp that you can download, which will be your instant messaging, and it will be your account abstraction identity. And then also tied into that as well is one of the things we're working on is the ability to make payments, to send crypto to people, things like that in a really quick way, to be able to do things like KYC. Um, but we had one mind on trying to make it as easy as possible as well. So the other thing launching at the same time will be AI agents in there. So a marketplace for agents. So you can download the agents for certain things, and you'll be able to say things like, Agent Jeff, send X amount of ONG to my friend Dumont for all his help in here. And it will sort that out for you and send it across. So really taking away some of those difficulties and some of those obstacles that people find when they start trying to use Web3 products, when they start trying to use DID. And so be able to use those agents to help you with your identity, to be able to check on reputation, and to be able to do all these different things. On top of that, it will be a marketplace. So whilst we'll have agents in there in the first instance, we are talking to people and we'll be enabling other people to build their own agents and launch them on the marketplace and to be able to expand that offering out to people. So you end up with this nice little app that sits alongside Onto Wallet and sits with that for you to be able to do really quick day-to-day things like payments, get your AI agent to do things for you, prove who you are, check reputation, chat with your friends, conduct business chats and things like this. So this is a real quick uh, daily usage app, if you like, for doing those things. So lots of things coming out on that. And that's a huge step forward on the roadmap in terms of um, instant messaging, AI agents, marketplaces, things like that. And that is coming sooner than you would imagine, and not as soon as we all would like, but it will be here soon. And you'll be seeing many more articles coming out and many more things coming out around this in terms of write-ups on what does it mean to move away from externally owned accounts for DID into account abstraction accounts for DID. What does it mean to have private decentralized chat linked to decentralized identity? What does it mean to have an AI agent marketplace for them to be able to conduct some of the things you need them to do? And so lots of articles coming out. We'll have some competitions coming out, of course, and we'll let people know when the app is available to download, and we'll have lots of guides and instructions on how to best use it. And then obviously we'll have some information for developers so they can start building with this identity and start building that out in different products. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what people can do with this as well. And so big call out. Anybody will have noticed, I'm sure, the great moves we've been making with the African community at the moment. Got lots of developers submitted some results for a small bounty on that. The results for that will be coming soon. The team are in Tokyo at the moment at WebEx and doing a lot of work there, talking to the Japanese market and looking to see what we can do there and trying to expand that presence there. So some of my responses in announcing the winners are slightly delayed, but they are coming. Please be patient with me. That will be coming very soon. Um, and so lots happening. We're talking to other projects, we're talking to Dexers, we're talking to Bridges and various other things, which are the other parts in our roadmap. I'm very confident that we will tick off all, if not at least pretty much everything on the roadmap by the end of the year. And this will be absolutely fantastic. Some really great movements, from being able to have ONT to ONG swaps live in Onto Wallet, I think was a really quality of life improvement. And I think this new identity and chat mechanism is going to be another huge quality of life improvement for users of Ontology. Um, that's my update. Nobody's come on with any questions, so I assume there aren't any questions. But as always, if anybody's got any questions, any comments, do reach out to me on Telegram. I'm always there. Drop me a line. Happy to talk to people. If anybody wants more information on what's coming, I can share what I can share. We'll be live on Thursday as well. I believe everybody will be live on Thursday to chat about what's happening in the ecosystem. So we might go back over this and recover this as well. But lots and lots of things happening, lots of really cool things going on. I encourage you all to join the groups, subscribe to YouTube. I'm going to try and do more of these live streams if they're popular and successful. Hopefully they are, and we'll go from there. If you're watching this on record, hopefully this has been useful to you. Reach out, say hello, and let's continue building some cool stuff. I'm going to go back to my wine and I'm going to go and find some lovely dinner and enjoy the Cornish sunshine. Have a great day. Goodbye, everybody.